Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated. I had a great night last night. I didn't do cocaine, and I was at the after party, because I went to the wholesome Thanksgiving party.
Okay, nice.
What is
Which
that?
also had party and stuff going on, and that was in the East Village. This guy Tom Clark had Lenny K was there. Lenny K's down for the pot.
He doesn't email me back.
He just told me, he's like, your guy keeps emailing me.
Okay, at least he sees the email.
He's like, I'm into it. We're gonna do it.
Okay, so you should keep bugging him.
Yeah, he's not bugged.
Okay.
He's into it.
Right.
He wants to do it. He brought it up to me. I wasn't going to bring it up because I've already brought it up to him.
Yeah.
So he was cool with it. And so I was at that party. Then I went to the after, and there was some weed smoking going on. I was like, I'm going to Bob Marley my Thanksgiving. It's fine. I can smoke weed.
Microdose or full-on smoke?
No, like smoking weed. You know, microdose weed. That's psychedelics.
Okay.
That's a whole different thing. But there was booze around, and there was part of me that was like, maybe I'll just have some red wine. It's, Christmas or whatever this is. But I didn't, and thank God, because then I went to the after party, and at the after party there was harder stuff. And had I done the first step at the one party, it would have been like I'd still be awake from last night instead of the yoga
podcast
master.
Would not be happening.
Well, it would be, but it would be weird. It would be like
weirder than it is right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think this is weird.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
We've just the funny thing is because we've canned Scott. I mentioned to him that he's our Matt Damon.
I'm the Matt Damon character. Which
good.
at first I didn't get the reference, but when he
I don't
mentioned
get the reference either, but I'm excited to
I
do
guess
it.
Jimmy
'Cause
Kimmel,
on Jimmy
has
Kimmel-
is a thing with he like pretends
To hate?
to not like him.
No. At
so
the end
I'm
of every show,
pretending I don't like
at the
Scott?
end of every show, he's like, "Apologies to Matt Damon. We had to bump him. We'll have you on next time."
Oh, right.
And we've had to bump Scott a bunch of times
But
because
Scott's
the last.
in Dumbo.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
why.
I know
He's
that.
local.
It's a
That's
local
why.
thing. It can be
He's local.
Hey, you
this
free,
was
whatever.
this was inevitable.
This is great. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm
This is
excited.
like, yeah. Oh, and so here's why you got to do yoga.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was this guy I was talking to at the after party.
Uh-huh.
I was about to leave because there was first there was just like a bunch of wild talking going on, sort of gossip, like the drug talk that can happen sometimes where it's gossip and you don't know anybody and I was about to leave, and then this guy looked at my shoes, these Vibram 5 Fingers.
Oh, wacky.
And he
Nice.
was like, I approve of your footwear.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went into my whole spiel about these, which is like, oh, they're actually good because instead of the padding, the padding makes you heel strike.
Right.
And then so you jar your knee and your hips and you actually create injury with what's supposed to have been protecting you.
All right. I got a whole other side conversation I want about these shoes.
We're gonna do this.
All right,
I gotta give you this spiel though.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is like
I want
this
the
is
spiel.
because I got my mind blown by this guy.
Okay.
This guy proceeded to blow my mind.
All right.
So,
Did he have a name?
oh shit, yeah. Let's see. He emailed me.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Well, I don't know. Okay, should I look up the name? All right. Not. Okay, let's see. Hey, bro, it's Michael. Movement stimulates brain. Okay, yeah. Michael.
And
So-
you have flat feet?
Huh?
Are your feet flat or you have high
No, I
arches?
think they're normal.
Normal.
I think I got the normal
Okay,
jams.
all right,
You know,
all right.
they're a little,
Interesting.
hard to find in my size because I wear size 15 in Nikes. Yeah.
Wow.
But these ones, and then so like, okay, you retrain yourself to run more gazelle-like. You develop all these muscles here and in your ankles. You evenly distribute the impact, so less injury. So even though they look like this, they're actually safer in the end.
Wow.
That's
So
the
you like
deal.
shorter strides? Or like you're doing?
You run more gazelle-like. You run lighter on your feet
Wow.
because your feet are massively intelligent. They're like your feet have more like bones and brain and nerve endings than like your feet are like what separates us from chimps is our feet more than on a physical level, like because they have hands.
Right.
And their feet are like hands.
Exactly, yeah.
Our feet are like this, and only our feet are like, this is the new updated jam.
See,
This is the new update.
That's the evolution.
This is this, whether you believe in evolution or not, that's controversial.
Right.
So basically, you getting into your feet, and I'm like judging myself for being all into athletics and into my feet and all this other stuff. But then this guy said, and he said, the roots of your brain. He said to me this, and it blew my mind.
You wrote it down?
The brain arose to coordinate movement. The roots of the brain are in movement. So your brain we only have brains because of movement. And there's creatures, and I looked this up when I went home. There's organisms that actually move, and then they find a rock, and they never leave that rock. And what happens when they do that is they digest their nervous system that would create a brain because they don't fucking need it anymore. The only reason we have brains is to coordinate movement. That's a biological fact that's like controversial.
That does blow my mind.
Right? Doesn't it? Because
That's nuts.
It's nuts because then all of a sudden you like think of things like massive exercise or like things that even have that connotation of, oh yeah, but you're kind of shallow, or you're trying to get a six pack, or or like there's that like, oh, athletes are kind of dumb, I'm a bookworm, I'm at a desk all the time,
right?
That kind of thing. Like you like sort of like judge like all that activity is like somehow intellectually less stimulating when nothing could be further from the truth.
Right,
In fact,
it's the exact opposite.
It's the exact opposite. You're engaging your brain. You're doing what your brain is functioned to do when you're in massive movement, running, and
that makes sense. Yeah,
yoga. Like this is why yoga, and then yoga takes it to another level because yoga, then you start engaging your brain and you start consciously controlling your breath, something that's more involuntary.
That's
so your brain is going like, nah, nah, nah. And you're also trying to improve, like you're trying to get better at weird movements. And it's like, so your brain is going, I love you. I fucking love you, dude. Throw a mantra on top of that. Your brain is like going, I'm 100%. I'm fucking killing it. Rather than like if you're like 10% on your couch, just like, what the fuck, dude? Your brain is like, I'm dumb, dude. I'm like, might as well digest. I might as well literally digest my brain for food.
Yeah.
If like you don't move.
It doesn't matter.
And that's what that's what an organism will do. Digest their brain just for some calories if they don't move.
That seems insane to me.
But that's
crazy.
I looked that up.
But I do see your point though, like because I like running. I like running a lot. And, and for me, my favorite thing on the planet is just kind of getting lost. Mm-hmm. You know, like even songwriting.
Yeah.
Like not to segue to that, but like I like having my mind. Like, I like doing like a mundane task. I like moving, and doing something. Like driving or washing dishes or mowing lawns or just going for a run, and you kind of get lost in a rhythm, and you can kind of like I feel like that creates space. Like you're doing one thing, and it lets your mind operate on a place that you would otherwise not be able to get to.
Yeah, when you run, do you come up with like lyrics and stuff like that?
I do. Like I'll find like, or you'll get like a weird heart rhythm or just a breathing rhythm, and then you'll find yourself like running or like creating something to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's the thing on the foot thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Good Feet store? I'm gonna enter right in with like endorsing this company because I have had like bad luck since I turned 40. I had plantar fasciitis, and then I was a big mess.
I had that once.
Ugh, it's terrible.
It sucks.
It sucks. Well,
it takes like 6 months to get over that shit.
Yeah. Well, then they say they're like, and get ready because once you have it, it kind of like is more. You're more prone to have it come back on you, and like so I gout. So I had it and finally got rid of it. I was so pumped, and I broke my arm earlier this year. Then that kind of put me out, and then started running again. I got like a stress fracture, and my brother-in-law, who is like one of those guys who does Spartan races, he's like a nut, and he's really impressive. But he told me, hey man, have you been to this Good Feet store? And I said, no, I don't know what that is. We went in. and these insoles, like they have their whole system.
Yeah, I've done that before. I did that at Jackrabbit, like where like you run on the track and some guy who's like they hired for minimum wage who doesn't have any
I've done the Jackrabbit move too.
And then he films it.
I did the Jackrabbit
move. And then the 17-year-old gives you his expert opinion.
Yep.
And then
so
you believe it.
I totally did the Jackrabbit thing. Yeah. So I was completely, I was like, yeah, dude, I've already done this before. I've done the insole thing. Like, no, it's not,
Not buying.
I'm not going to believe in this. But we're going to go. I said, okay, I'll go. And I had a couple eureka moments in the store. It was like, oh my God, like some crazy stuff. And their whole thing is it corrects knees, it corrects your hips, it corrects your lower back, it does all this stuff. So I've been doing it.
Okay, but they're also engaging in technology that cannot possibly fuck with the technology.
Right, well, that's the thing.
God gave us, which is the human foot.
Right.
And that's the thing, because that's the whole point of that whole thing. It's like humans come in and go, I know, I'll make it better.
Right.
And then they dumb it down.
Yeah, well, let's try high heels.
Let's put a big pad so your foot can't have any communication with your brain as to what's actually going on.
Right. I feel like for me,
what I mean?
I'm at a moment, again, we're always learning, but I'm at this moment where I'm really appreciative because I have super high arches. So I always hit, it's like when they do the little scan, I got like 2 points of contact. I have like a heel and then I've got just the toe. Like it's like that's the only thing. So for me, it's really working. It's given me like a chance to have my feet get, well, that's cool. At least to get them better. Because that's I always feel like I get to a place where you're like finally good, and then something happens, and then then you're out, and you have to go back and do it.
I mean, for a sponsorship, we'll try their product.
These things are super, these things are super sweet. You know what they remind me of? Those like Feiyu, those little like the martial arts shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, except
I know they feel quite ninja-like.
Yeah, they definitely look ninja.
But it turns out that they are, because what happens is you start developing all these muscles, and like in yoga, all of a sudden you can balance killer. Like all of a sudden, like you're like doing these one-leg balance things because, and then you can feel in your brain or in your foot. That's a Freudian slip in your brain.
With the
thing.
foot. Right,
because the foot is the brain, and it's like, and it's like going nah. It's doing all these micro adjustments, and you're like more sensitized to it. That's the other thing I was saying to this guy yesterday. Like, it's like all of a sudden feet are fun. Like, when's the last time you had fun with your foot? The foot is just something you shove into a thing and forget about.
That's
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but if like you're getting into your feet, it's like this whole new toy that you have, and it was your damn feet. You had them the whole time.
That's a good angle to look at it.
Yeah.
Because for me, I look at it more as like lately it's been like, oh man, what do I have to do to keep these things together? That's how I've been. I've been feeling that way lately.
Well, the yoga will,
and you can
like,
move your
the yoga will make you young again.
You can move them like. Yeah, you can move them right now. Wow.
Yeah.
They all move over like that. That's nuts.
Yeah. It's fun.
You run in those. You'll just go
I'm
out.
I'm running in them. Yeah.
That's wild.
It is wild. I'm boxing them too. I box, and that helps with boxing too, because boxing, jumping rope, that's all about being on your toes and stuff. So when you start running in these and you build those muscles, then you try to jump rope, it's like nothing. It's like, fuck, jumping rope? What? I could... What? Who wants to jump rope for like 100 hours? Let's do this. I mean, I'm in.
You like that?
Oh, I love it.
Well, look, a friend of mine who's an Ohio guy. He just told me like 2 weeks ago. I mean, we've known each other now for a little bit, and I had no idea.
What? That he boxed?
That he was like, oh, I'm like a jump roping champion.
Oh, yeah. There's a jump rope guy in New York that's like amazing.
Yeah.
He's a boxer that's like, and he has this like wild eye patch. What's his name? Yeah, and he's got, let me see if I can, I don't know if I can find him, but he does these jump roping classes. He's a former boxer. But
well, this guy does it so well that like he's like when I'm doing like the CrossFit stuff, they're like, no, do like a double.
You do CrossFit?
Or do a triple. No, I don't.
He does.
And
I've
he's
never
like,
done that.
but he's like, I already did it. Like I just did it. Like you didn't see it, but I'm that.
I'm not that good at it.
Yeah, I was like, oh
no, but I can
God.
crush from jumping rope, but I'm not like Mr. Tricks.
Right. Okay.
But I can do it fast in boxing style. I'll do it to rounds.
That's awesome. All right, so let me see. What do you got here? So you're Rocky Balboaing this.
I'm gonna Rocky Balboa it.
Wow.
So Joe's cracking.
Cracking.
What, are you going to do all 6 eggs?
Are you going to do all 6?
I did 6 this morning.
He's doing
what?
6 eggs raw.
So you're going to be
into a pint glass.
You're going to do a dozen eggs.
Dozen eggs
by like 2.
It's better than steroids.
my God. I love it.
I don't know if
oh my God, that's amazing.
Okay. Super healthy.
That's 6 eggs.
Okay, and there's no risk of like salmonella. Is that like?
I don't know. What's life without risk? Though,
Underneath
bro?
this is like.
Cheers, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Fine.
Cheers. Wow, that's better than cocaine, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Chugged
Oh my
it.
God.
Chugged it.
That's amazing.
Chugged it. What's the flavor? Is there a flavor or it just goes down smooth?
Tastes great.
Really?
Oh man.
No, really, I'm asking. What is it?
No, it really does.
Oh,
And
okay.
now I feel like I could feel like I could fly through the ceiling right now. That is better than cocaine.
Wow.
I'm glad you didn't do coke yesterday.
Me too. I feel like a champion now.
And that's how we usually start every podcast.
All right, done.
That's Ohio style, right
That
there.
is Ohio style, man.
So
Well, I don't know. If that's
where'd you
Ohio
grow
style.
up in Ohio?
Well, I didn't grow up in Ohio.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You grew up.
So I grew
in
up
Jersey.
I grew up in Jersey.
That's
yeah.
right. And so that's wild. You
Yeah.
were already, you were already out here, and then you went there. Most people go from Ohio to here.
So I grew up in Jersey. Went to college at OU in
Oh,
Athens.
that's what got you to Ohio.
Yeah, it got me there. I studied theater there,
Oh man.
and then started the band in college, and wound up moving shortly thereafter. After graduating, moved to Columbus and was living there for halfway between since 2000, where I met my wife. We've been together for almost 20 years now.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
That's what you got to give me advice on how to make it work.
Yeah. All right. Well, where to begin?
I
Where
guess
to
you
begin?
find the right one. But, So you went to OU studying theater.
I did. Yeah, I studied theater there.
To do acting? Or
Yeah. And
Are you still doing that?
You know what? I have not acted on anything since I graduated because
your live performance is
yeah, I
expressive.
I feel like I use my education very, a lot more than I thought. At first I thought, oh man,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. By the time
Because you set up the stages and stuff really intricately or something. That's what Asia told me.
we try to.
Yeah.
We always try to have like a theme and do fun different stuff.
So you got that from
So-
the theater stuff, you think, or just?
I think so.
paying
A certain element of just like performance of just putting on like a show. But yeah, I like the. I've always liked theater, and then I remember when I left to go to college, my thought was because I had just been starting like a little fledgling band in South Jersey and with my high school friends, and we didn't even do. I think we did like one show, and then I went to school. So at that time, I remember thinking, I want to study theater and I want to form a band immediately, and I want to do both. And then by the end, it was. I just remember I remember getting the news from like the head of the School of Theater, like the last quarter of my senior year, and he's like, you know what? Just so everybody knows, you're going to leave here with nothing but education, and you'll have to pound the pavement. And it's there's no magic 8-ball. There's no you can't do any one particular thing to get a job. So you just have to hustle and hit the streets and go. And I remember being like, okay. Well, it's the same thing with a band, and you can act at any age. I mean, you can also, looking back now, you can write music at any age. But I remember thinking music was more of a young thing. I'm just going to keep going with this, and that's what I've done ever since. So
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool. I like that. I kind of like that he said that, but it's also kind of like he's almost like saying, so this college thing, it was basically just worthless.
it was really, it totally was.
By the way,
Exactly.
You could have
you
just been getting after it this whole time.
Right.
But we just figured
at
we
the
just figured
11th
we'd
hour.
waste like your time
Yeah.
for 4 years. Now, good luck.
We hope that this education has suited you
By
well.
the way, you're in debt
And,
up
yeah,
to
they-
your eyeballs.
Yeah, man.
But go out there and hit the pavement.
Exactly.
Is Ohio
Jesus.
University known for their theater department?
You know what? I think so. I think they have a really good program.
Oh, okay.
I just knew about it. Actually, I had one friend of mine who was a year above me, who was the only. There were two people I knew from my high school growing up that went to school there, and we all sang together, and we were in high school. I was in a madrigal singing group, and we were a real tight knit group of people. So two of those people were there. So I felt like I I wanted to go to a place where I didn't know anybody, but had just enough, had a couple people that a couple lifelines. So and it was a great school. It was a lot of fun. I love that place. I mean, it was nothing like I thought Ohio would be like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you think Ohio would be like?
Well, growing up in Jersey, I thought everyone would just say like, oh, it's just cornfields and it's nothing,
It's a lot like Jersey.
Yeah, it is. You think so?
Well, I mean,
I think where you come from is because I think Akron and Youngstown and Northeast Ohio is very, very Jersey.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, it's like when
similar.
I'm in Jersey, it seems like in sort of suburbia Jersey.
Yeah,
sort of like the kind of city-ish, but suburbia city mix thing. That's what Ohio is, where I grew up. I mean, Akron.
Okay, yeah. See,
I
love Northeast
downtown.
Ohio.
Yeah, me too.
It feels comfortable to me, but I think that a lot. That it reminds me so much of Jersey. That's why I'm most comfortable in those areas.
Yeah.
I mean, Athens felt like, I remember going out there and thinking like, God, this feels like Boulder, Colorado. It feels it's like real. I mean, it's a hippie community. It's a
I never really went there. I don't think. Yeah. I don't really know anything about it.
It's a very cool community.
Where is that compared to Akron?
So. Like if Columbus is the middle of the state, like 100 miles southeast corner, is Athens. So it's down. It's down there. Which means
so it's like between Cincinnati and Columbus.
It's more like that would be like making a triangle.
Like Cincinnati doesn't even seem like Ohio to me.
No, it doesn't. It
doesn't.
Right? It's totally.
Sorry, Cincinnati.
It's
like,
true. It's true.
If we got to, I'm sorry, but I just can't. I can't make you fool Ohio. No matter how hard I try.
It does have a weird thing.
Cincy, I think, right? Like
yeah.
So I'm not trying to these aren't fighting words. I'm not trying to beat. And they're also in my brain. I can't think of you like Ohio.
Right. They've got that the Ohio River's right there. Right. And like half of like the district of like art stuff is on the other side. So I feel like you've got a lot of Kentucky there too.
It's Kentucky.
It's Kentucky and Ohio.
Listen, Kentucky. Cincinnati's all yours. Listen. I gotta say, Kentucky. You guys are Ohio. You guys are Cincinnati, really. It's Cincinnati, Kentucky.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, the Bengals, for Christ's sake.
I do feel bad that
the Bengals. That's not an Ohio team.
I feel Ohio.
The Browns.
But don't you think Ohio? Like when I look at Ohio, I feel like you've got Browns. You've got you've got a lot of sports teams up north, and you've got are you a Steelers fan at all?
No, dude, I'm a Browns fan.
Okay.
What the fuck?
I
hate the Steelers.
Youngstown's on that line, and my wife's from Youngstown. There's a lot of people that are like, they have support for everything. The only thing that I see all over the state that people
because all my cousins were like from West Virginia, and so they were all Steelers fans. So I get it. I have like a love-hate thing for the Steelers, but officially I hate the Steelers.
But nobody I know.
But in
roots
secret,
for the
I
Reds.
kind of like the Steelers. But if the Browns aren't playing and the Browns are already out, which let's face it is always, I kind of secretly root for the Steelers sometimes.
Steelers are from what city? Sorry,
Pittsburgh.
Okay,
Pittsburgh.
that's what. But in Pittsburgh is how far from Ohio?
Pittsburgh.
It's
45 minutes.
Oh, it's close. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's like a 45-minute.
Depending on where you start.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
But
I don't know. I personally don't know.
Big state. What?
I don't know a lot. I don't know any Reds fans, and I'm sure that we have plenty.
Yeah, like
people listening to be like, dude, are you
Ohio?
kidding? It's Ohio, but it's a weird thing to be like Bengals, Reds, what?
Nah, come on. Those are Kentucky teams.
That's true.
Those are not Ohio teams.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
The weird thing about Ohio is its thing with Michigan. Like there's those two states have a weird beef.
They do have a beef.
Like there's no other two states that have a beef. Yeah. I can't think of any other two.
Beef?
No. There's there's a sports beef.
It's not really sport. It's actually deeper than sports.
Do you think?
See,
okay, because I've only knew it to be like the college rivalry.
It's Michigan judges. Michigan thinks it's better than Ohio.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Michigan is like the high-end Ohio. That's what they think.
I mean, I would say geographically.
They're full of shit, but that's what they think.
Geographically, I would say they've got
lakes.
They got it like the lakes, the Upper Peninsula. That stuff's beautiful up there.
Fuck Michigan.
I got a funny thing though.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's got Detroit. Listen, I went to Leonard Cohen. I bought myself a ticket. Have you ever seen Leonard Cohen?
I've never got to see Leonard Cohen live.
And I was like, he was going to be at Barclays Center, and I figured how much longer is Leonard Cohen going to be around? I never had seen him, and I tried to get can anybody in the biz get me a ticket? Nobody could. I just said, fuck it, I'm buying a ticket, old school, like the way normal people do.
Right.
I bought a ticket.
That's a funny thing.
I bought a nice ticket.
Yeah,
and I went by myself, and I sat next, and in the seat next to me was Michael Moore.
Wow.
Yeah, and his wife was next to him.
Holy cow.
Did he also buy regular people tickets?
I don't know. I didn't ask
didn't buy
how
him from
he.
the
I didn't ask him how he came
next to him. So.
But I sat next to him, and we talked about, and he brought that up to me. He was like, "Isn't it funny that Michigan and Ohio have beef?" And I was like, "Yeah, that is funny.
That's crazy."
Because he's from Michigan.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's true. You know what? One of my first booking agents is from Jersey, and he went to Michigan. Yeah. So when he repped us as an Ohio band for years, we were like, "Why don't we ever play up in Michigan?" I don't understand. He's like, no, it's not for you guys. It's I just don't want there to be a situation. And we're like, I don't understand. So because people would say, "You guys travel all over the place. You're all over.
Like,
why don't you ever play in
band.
Michigan?" And it's like, we don't. And then at one point he was like, "Okay, stop complaining. I got you guys a gig in Michigan, so you can stop complaining." We're like, "Great. Where is it?" And he said, "It's Marquette. It's up on the Upper Peninsula." So we had to drive all the way through the state and go beyond where everybody
beyond Detroit,
beyond all of the animosity or rivalry, and go all the way up. And we played up on Lake Superior up in northern Michigan.
The town
University.
is right near the sign now exiting Michigan.
Yeah, basically. It feels, if that place up there, it feels more like Canada than anything.
But
funny. It's beautiful up there, though. Wacky people up there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they got they're Yoopers. They call them the Yoopers.
What are those?
Well, it's like UP. They call the Upper Peninsula the UP. So they call them the Yoopers. And we would go up there, and they'd have... they're self-admitted, like, "You better watch, man. These Yoopers up here, they'll steal the engine out of your car while it's still running, man."
Really?
Watch it. And you're like, really? We never had any issue.
That's
but
funny.
they have their own sort of counterculture of folks up there. It's really cool. We used to play. We stayed at this Gitchy Goomy RV park when we were younger out there, and this guy, he didn't like to go into town. He was like, going into town is such a hassle, and he had a hernia. So he'd sit on his property and shoot squirrels and cook the squirrels. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "If you stay long enough, I'll show you how I do it." And you strip it. And he's like, "It's got a piney sort of taste. It's like eating a rat with, pine needles in it." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds fantastic." But wacky stuff, wacky people up there.
That's the thing. Like if you're a vegan or something, right? Those that crop, the kind of cropping that they do or whatever, farming, that ends up killing squirrels and shit like that and small animals. Yeah. So and actually probably per vegan meal, more small animals die than the one cow that feeds 100 meat eaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
That's the ironic thing about
that's
it.
blowing my mind too.
Right?
No
Actually, there's no cruelty-free way of survival.
Wow.
Death is surrounding us all the time.
That's true.
What are the squirrel statistics? We want to know.
I don't know, but that's information we need. How many deaths per vegan meal? How many small critters die for an Impossible Burger? Whereas this guy's just blowing away one squirrel at a time. It's kind of
it was amazing.
To me, that's more vegan than vegan. Right?
I wonder how
only one squirrel's dead, but for an Impossible Burger, that's got to be at least 10 squirrels get hacked up. Come on, there's no other way around that.
You have a really good point, man. You have a really good point. They are. You're losing. You're losing life.
And I'm not even counting bugs.
No,
are those animals?
Yeah, where do you
draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? That's true.
Where do you draw the line?
When you count bug death, then there's hundreds of bugs.
Oh my God! I think
basically per vegan meal, thousands of deaths.
Yeah, think about that, everybody.
I'm just vegan comments under this is going to be "I fucking hate you."
Red wanting who?
Yeah. Oh man. The bug death. I think about that all the time. When we drive.
People eat crickets for protein.
That's true. I've seen that.
I would. If you had some now, I'd eat them.
I've had some.
I've never had them.
Out Southwest, they do that a lot.
Oh, really?
You'll see cinnamon toasted crickets.
Oh, I don't want my
chocolate
crickets
covered.
sweet.
Yeah.
I want them like spicy, like
They got
hot,
them.
like like put hot sauce on the
At the
crickets.
State
They
Fair.
got that stuff. Yeah, they got like the hot and spicy.
I don't want like caramel crickets.
I think that's that's like a real form of protein. You could put those in
with
the
the
little
eggs.
crunch with the egg.
Imagine like on top of the eggs.
Oh man,
in a glass full of crickets.
really just chew it.
That's right. That's what Mr. T was drinking.
Oh man. I remember eating. I ate crickets. We the band did that. We did that when we were out running around, and I remember it tasted just like spicy sunflower seeds. That's what it felt like.
That's
when I
how
put it
I
in my mouth.
imagine them tasting.
It tasted like sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Or had like the crunch.
But
and
probably
then a
better
little
than
softer.
sunflower seeds.
It wasn't bad.
Like the shells of sunflower seeds are almost too much like wood. I feel like I'm chewing on wood.
They are wood-like.
They're
Yeah.
wood-like. It's
They
like
are.
if wood was edible.
That's a lot of work.
It
I
is.
get why
I eat
people
the
do
whole
it.
thing. That's why.
Do you eat the whole thing?
I can't.
Really?
I just throw them in my mouth and eat them.
Wow. Mm-hmm. See, I don't
That's
do that.
the Ohio style. That's the Ohio in me popping out.
Yeah. I do the pumpkin seeds. I like pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
But
Do you guys do watermelon seeds? Because those are the best.
what?
Yeah.
What do you
Never
mean?
heard of that.
Eat
I like
watermelon?
pumpkin seeds.
Or you
No,
cook
just like you have sunflower seeds, when you dry out watermelon seeds and prepare them the same way.
Really?
It's huge in the Middle East. Yeah,
No way.
they're
Never heard of that.
delicious. They're harder to crack,
Yeah.
but if you toast them really well, chewing the whole thing with the thing is delicious.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm like a weirdo, and I will double roast the pumpkin seeds. I'm too lazy to actually do it myself. I'm not going to carve a pumpkin out whenever I feel like having pumpkin seeds and then toasting them. Which so I we'll go to Trader Joe's and you'll see them in the there's the pumpkin seeds, but they're like bleach white. And you're like, that's not what they look like. I don't know how
Right.
they salt those or do those. So I get them and then I like re-oil them and I try to toast them, get them all brown.
Really?
Yeah, like my wife's like, dude, twice baked pumpkin seeds. What are you doing?
That's what your thing
But they're
is.
good. Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah, I'll do them. Yeah, my mom actually was just here yesterday for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah? Was
and
that
she
nice?
brought me a little Ziploc bag like old times.
That's
of pumpkin
cute.
seeds. Like, here you go, just to make sure you have some.
Where in Dumbo are you?
I'm over on Bridge, so we're on the quiet side, right on the edge by Vinegar Hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I lived in Dumbo for years.
Did you?
Yeah, like
No shit. Where?
8 years, something. I was like early.
He was on J.
I was on J and
and,
Silent Bob Street.
J and
Like J and I was on 25 J Street, that coffee
it's
shop.
right now where Brooklyn Roasting
Oh, we're
Company.
that big building right there, the Brooklyn Roasting.
That was my gallery. I lived in
Nice.
that
Okay.
illegally.
Really?
Like I had a museum called Museum of Modern Art in there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Uh-huh.
How
It
long
wa-
have you been in
So that's over
Dumbo?
there. We've been there for like 8 years.
But you,
Yeah.
Were you still?
It's about when
Yeah.
I
you,
moved
you
out.
just moved out.
I moved to
then.
Red Hook,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
now I
that's
live
rad.
in the East Village.
Oh man,
is weird.
Why'd you move out of Red Hook?
I just had to leave my place.
Yeah.
It was like time.
Okay.
I was another illegal space. I was living illegally in a garage.
So you weren't allowed to live there in like that.
No,
kind
I last like for years I lived in spaces I wasn't allowed to live in.
I mean, I don't see how. Wow. See, because like we go to Red Hook all the time.
Yeah.
And I know everything's changing over there, but
I love Red Hook.
I love it too.
Fucking great place to live.
And it's I always feel like it's like the last
Frontier.
the last frontier.
It
Yeah.
is. In New York City.
Yeah.
It is.
People go over there with like the
Well, it's not it didn't get all inundated, or what do you call it, gentrified?
the
Yet.
gentrification.
Yeah.
It never will either. I mean, it has to a degree, a lot, but it won't go the way Dumbo went because there's no train.
That's true.
No train can get out there.
I know, and I feel like
And
that.
it never can because it's like it's too close to the water.
Yeah.
Like there's no way for an underground train. I guess.
Yeah, you never know. They might come up with something.
No, yeah, Elon Musk will come up with
Exactly.
something.
They come up with something. I do love it out there, and we drive out there all the time, and you see all the RVs where
Yeah.
you know people are like,
Just
some
live-
of these RVs, you're like, this thing has not moved in years, but they're like, they have an agreement
So
with the
fucking
neighbor.
smart.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's like for like the price of a New York apartment, like you know those RVs are bigger than most people's New York City apartments.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably living rent free there.
That's what I wonder. I wonder like how often are they having to move it, or you know?
alternate side street at worst. I mean,
I've
or,
thought
you know.
about doing that.
I mean, when the band would come and play, when we didn't want to pay for parking, and there were, you'd hear all the stories of like, oh, you got to go out to Jersey and spend a buttload of money to keep it
Yeah.
out there. I was like, no way, man. I was like, I know where to go. So we would drive and have somebody like hang out in our vehicle, like out in Red Hook.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, you went to Red Hook?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We parked out there a bunch because it's like it's not far. It's not far from the bridges, especially because if you're playing like when we play over at Bowery, like you just swing out.
It's not far at all.
Over. Yeah.
And
nobody bugs you.
I used my bike the whole time I lived out there. I rode my bike into the city all the time.
Yeah. If you can do that, then it's like it's a perfect place.
It was perfect for me.
I love that.
It worked.
Yeah.
It's fun to live in the city, though. I gotta say, it's fun to live right in the East Village because, it's like you can go out like. And you're out like within 1 minute. You're at the spot.
You're in it, yeah.
Yeah, you're in it. So it's like that's kind of a different vibe. It's fun.
Yeah. My wife so I was always sort of, we've been together for forever, for the last 20 years. But we had a spot in that she was there full time. I was always running around with the band, but in the financial district. So she got in there in like 2002. So we were there for I think it was like. There was like 10 years. And that was kind of a wacky place. And it was a wacky time to be down there. Yeah.
Right after 9/11, everything dropped over there.
So how long were you in Ohio before you moved here?
Well,
so the band starts in Ohio.
Yeah, band starts in Ohio.
Do they live there or do they live here?
We've got my guitar player, Eric. He lives in Hoboken with his wife.
So
who we met out here,
basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's nice that we have like a East Coast contingent of the band. We got an East Coast branch, and then Mark and Greg, they hold down the fort in Columbus, and Dean lives in Youngstown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I was splitting my time for our first 10 years, basically.
Going back and forth?
Yeah, going back and forth, doing a lot of driving and writing songs in the wee hours of the night on I-80.
Yeah.
Going across, but. Do that, and then made a full move, like 8 years ago.
How would you write songs driving, just like in your head?
I could just zone out, and I play a baritone uke, so it was real small, and it would still drive my wife nuts, but I'd set the cruise control, and I'd have like
do it with the steering wheel.
Yeah, you got the knee, and you're like, okay, and you're like on such a straightaway for such a long time. You're like, okay, and have the occasional like deer,
amazing,
the occasional deer.
I hate to be the driver on the other side, seeing this.
But dude, once they have self-driving Teslas happening, dude,
so much songwriting could go on.
So much crazy. Like,
I would love that.
Think of all the shit that's gonna go on.
Yeah, and but that's what I do. I also I'll use a.
You ever get a ticket?
No, I never had a ticket. I've had a few like scares though. A couple like deer cutting across the road, and you're like, oh, and
really,
you freak out. But I've been lucky. I only hit one deer one time ever in 20 years, which was good, and it was in Jersey of all places. Go through the whole Poconos, and it's fine.
You always get told like they can cut your head off if you hit the deer. People get decapitated.
It's terrible.
They always throw that nightmare into the mix.
Yeah. I was
you're likely to get decapitated if you hit a deer.
It was right at
the deer's likely to fly through the window
and
cut your head clean off.
I was lucky.
Your head will start spinning in midair, and blood will splatter everywhere as your head rolls out of the car. And the deer says, "How you like me now?"
It's true. If you have a low car, you're toast.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was lucky. I had
every
an SUV.
Time it's like a deer crossing. I'm thinking of my head getting decapitated. Anyway,
Delaware Water Gap. That's where mine happened.
So what happened?
I just it was
I
one
can
of
see
those.
that your head is still attached.
Yeah.
I don't see any stitch. Right. I don't see any stitches
It was terrible.
We had to sew it back on, or did your head stay on?
The deer and I had a moment, and it was sad because it was, again, get through. If you've done that drive, which I know you've done.
Oh yeah.
You get through the Poconos, and you're like, okay, the worst of it's over. Like all the deer running across and wildlife, we're good now. Now we're in Jersey, getting through Delaware Water Gap. It's going to be nice and easy. And it was the first moment I was just taking. It didn't even get to the first exit yet, and I'm like, okay, looking good. And got down on my phone and started, just looking for something to listen to. And it was just like, boom, right at that moment, hit it. And it was over by
You weren't looking?
Just for it was like a millisecond of looking down, boom. It was
What was
already,
that shocking? Like, did you think it was a human, or did you know what it was? Right?
I actually was more scared that I thought I veered off and hit something on the side of the road.
Right.
It was one of those, just looking down.
Yeah.
But it was so fast and it was right by the passenger side headlight. It was on that side, but it was a moment of, because it was going that way across, that we both, like, I looked at it and it looked at me like, how could you? Like, it had, like, we had like a thing, and then it went under, and it was like, oh boy, and that was that.
Yeah, its spirit went into you.
It was scary
right at that moment,
yeah.
like some shaman type shit.
I felt terrible about it. I couldn't believe it because I had a perfect record. I was like, oh, I didn't have to, And fortunately, the car, I was able to still make it.
Did you stop?
I stopped. Yeah, I pulled up and stopped, and it was. Yeah, it was toast.
Yeah.
It was, which was, thank goodness.
Yeah,
it was a situation where you look back and you're like, oh, it's still moving.
Yeah, and you have to, like, go over and break its neck.
Like, 5 a.m., snapping it.
It's going like, and you're like, yeah, imagine that. What would you do in that situation?
In that situation?
I would run away.
You'd run away?
Ugh, I can't deal with that.
That's tough. I know.
It's funny because your shirt says wilderness. I feel like that's somehow related. I don't know what that means, but
it's just the name of a band.
Oh, okay. But yeah, what would you do in that situation? Would you like do Jean-Claude? I feel like Jean-Claude Van Damme would break the neck. He would
get in and
he would say a prayer and then go
right.
Like Ehud would run. I'm not sure what I would do. I might Jean-Claude Van Damme it. I might.
I would honestly, I would seriously debate going back over it if I I would not be going with my bare hands.
You
over
wouldn't do.
Life
you wouldn't Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Life is leaving a creature, and you're like last gasps, and it's got a nice rack on it. I'd be like, then you'll be like, what happened to your leg, or what happened? I got bludgeoned by.
That's because you guys drive a van or an SUV on RV, right? It wasn't like a
no, but
Suburban.
this wasn't the van.
No, this was I was driving with just like I had an old Saturn View at that time. I had a Saturn View, so it was like an SUV, but a smaller one. That was just me driving, out, personal. Yeah.
And so you guys have been together for 20 years, is that right?
Yeah, started the band in '96.
Wow.
So we've been together for
it's more.
Yeah, almost 24 years or 24 years. Is that right? 23 years. 23 years.
That's when you started, right? When your demo was 95?
96.
Nice.
96, 97, my first record came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you playing a lot in Akron around then?
No, I lived in Atlanta.
Okay.
I played around in Akron a lot when I was in high school.
Okay, you did?
So I was in Frankie Started Chill Factor. I was the bass player.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Frankie was like a huge blues legend in Cleveland, like sort of a prodigy. We opened up for Albert Collins, Lonnie Mack, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, wow.
Like, we killed it. We were really good. We played 5 nights a week, 3 sets a night.
Okay.
I made $50 a night.
Oh, that's great.
In high school.
How cool is that?
Dude, it was insane. I just had pockets full of cash. It was nuts. And it was just unbelievable.
Man. So wait, did you ever play like Lime Spider? Did any of that stuff?
Yeah.
The Akron World?
Mm-hmm.
That we only did that like one time.
Tucker Dan's.
What was it?
Did you ever do Tucker Dan's?
No, never did that one.
No.
Where's that at?
Peabody's Down Under in the flats.
Yeah. We did that a lot.
Kindler's Euclid Tavern.
Euclid Tavern, yeah.
Did you play?
Yeah.
Did you like the Euclid Tavern? I love that place.
Yeah. I feel like
Stutz, Armstrong Bearcat. Do you know those guys? Mr. Stress.
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
I mean, this is a high school. I graduated high school in '90. That's when I left that band. So we're talking about late '80s.
Yeah,
we're talking about late '80s.
That was slightly before I got there. I got there in like '94, in Ohio, but we definitely played the flats, and there was the Peabody's is probably where we were most that's where we most often were at and
played a lot. That's a cool little weird venue.
Oh yeah, that place was nuts. I loved the flats down there, and then they've gotten rid of all of that now. It's all very different now.
The Nautica.
I think that's still there. I haven't been down in that world or down in, roaming around there for a while. But it used to be like a shanty town. That's how I always saw it. It was like this little shanty district by the river, and there was like strip clubs. There was like a strip club next to Peabody's. It felt very Wild West to me. There's a guy from Jersey going in and seeing like, look at all this stuff, like all these people. Because I didn't have anything like that. Going into Philly was the only thing that was close to, for us to.
I mean, for me as a kid, it was the closest thing I had ever seen to a big city. Like, that's just what a big city was. Because downtown Akron was like a ghost town.
Right.
Because it was dead industry.
Yeah.
Dead rubber capital.
Totally,
so like.
Rubber City.
So growing up as a kid, going downtown meant going to an abandoned ghost town.
Yeah.
That's what downtown was.
That's still what Cleveland felt like for me for years.
Yep.
It was scary down there.
But then Cleveland was like cool, like what you're saying, the weird shanty.
Well, they had the districts, so those cool nightlife areas.
So it's like, whoa, this is cool,
Oh yeah, the
I saw Al Di Meola play at fucking Peabody's down.
Really?
Under. Yeah.
Wow. They had this pole, like a terrible sight, like obstruction.
Yeah, that's right.
In the middle of the stage, and it's sort of like,
stage.
they got to be like go one way or
like
the other.
This?
Yeah.
No, it's like we're talking like right
no,
here.
we're talking if that was right here.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing was right here.
Yeah. And you had
but big like that, like
yeah.
Like that. They have that at Paradise in Boston too.
Okay.
Which is a great venue as well.
I've been there before.
I'm
if
sure
it's still the same
you guys
one.
must have played there. That's a great venue, but that has that weird pole thing too. Like just like
these places.
Yeah, but it's just
Don't you love that though?
I do.
like the wacky, or I keep saying wacky, but like I like that.
Yeah.
I like finding places or playing places that were, for whatever reason, they're like, we got to make it work. We're dealing with it.
I love it.
I think that's so cool.
I agree. I'm with you on that.
Gives it more character.
Definitely.
Yeah, I dig that.
So you guys then, and how'd you build your following through like constant touring, right? Like, because you guys have a pretty large following, right?
We didn't. I mean, we didn't know anything, and we didn't. There weren't a lot of bands that we had as sort of like.
Or you guys had some
bands.
radio success too, or like some chart stuff.
We've had some stuff. I don't know what any of that stuff means or equates to.
Well, I think it means that people liked your record and bought it.
Well, that's good.
I hope. Isn't that what charts
mean?
Well,
then thank you, charts. Thank you, whatever charts are out there that helped us out. We were just a band that was. I feel like being growing up at the time and starting a band when we did, it was like '96, and we didn't take it full, take it to the next level of being seriously going after it until like 99, 2000. And that was a really strange time.
Why? Because you were in college?
Well, just we all wanted to graduate. And,
I see.
And when we first started, when I first started the band in college, no disrespect to any former members, but at the time it was like, you play drums? Oh, cool. You can be my drummer. You have a bass? You should be like, there was no auditioning. It was like, oh, we're friends or we know each other. Let's just be in a band.
That's how a lot of bands get together.
Yeah. And then at one point it was.
That's even like how Led Zeppelin got together.
Well, that's an amazing.
I'm not sure. I'm just making that up.
Yeah, you're making that up.
I just threw that out there.
Right. But
we'll find out when we have Danny Goldberg on.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, that's great. You're gonna have Danny.
You know Danny?
Yes,
I do.
Did
he manage you?
Yes, he does.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, he managed me at one
nice.
point. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Obviously, we're still cool because he's going to be on my podcast.
Yeah.
But
we got Jesse
he
over
no
here
longer manages me.
Jesse's back here hanging too.
Oh, what's up, dude? How you doing? Yeah, so...
awesome. Yeah, Danny's... he's... His
character, huh?
Oh, his book. It's like reading. You're like one of the masters of the rock and roll universe.
He's
Bumping into Genius.
Books.
Yeah, he's written several books. The Bumping into Geniuses is the one I know the most.
Oh, okay.
And that's just, it's you reading it and you're like, wow, it's like he was in with everything.
How did you get connected with him?
I got connected. We got connected together through Fanatic Records. The band was on Fanatic, which was a New York label, and that was with Fanatic Promotion and Josh. It's actually a neat story, at least how I remember it, and Jesse, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but Josh used to eat at now the names escape. Shopsin's. Josh from the label ate at Shopsin's, and so
What's
did Danny.
Shopsin's?
Shopsin's, you don't know Shopsin's?
It sounds familiar.
They did a documentary on Kenny Shopsin. It's called like I Like Killing Flies. I think is
Back
the name
to
of
eating
it.
crickets.
Yeah, but he's amazing. You want to talk about a guy who's got like a great philosophy on life? That guy's amazing to listen to him go. But he's the guy that I think they sort of some would say that the soup Nazi stories
are
partially based on him, because he was the kind of guy like, oh, I'm making cheeseburger soup. It's going to be $36 because that's what I think it's worth for my time, and it'll be the best soup you ever have in your life.
It sounds delicious, by the way.
Yeah, but he's got.
I would love cheeseburger soup right now.
I've had it. It's
I
really good.
can't believe there's something called cheeseburger soup.
Yeah, his menu is insane.
I mean, I'm
Where
just
is
here.
it?
Well, he's over. I think now he's across in the new Essex Street Market, like
Still
the
open.
new one.
But
he was.
Dude, I
He
want
moved around a couple
cheeseburger
times.
soup right now.
It's some of the best food I've ever had.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, he's really amazing. But I think
We should get him on the podcast.
Oh, you should definitely get him,
especially
on the podcast.
if he's going to bring some cheeseburger soup.
He's amazing. He won't have more than 3 people sit together in his restaurant because he goes, no, then it becomes more than. Then like they take their own energy on, and I don't want that. So
That's
it's
amazing.
like you go in, and
I love this guy.
There's a certain element of like
I love people that
don't
think
cause a scene.
things.
Don't
Like,
cause it. I got kicked out sort of from.
Oh,
the
that's
restaurant.
amazing.
I didn't get kicked
My
out by
respect for
Kenny.
you just went up because
Yeah.
you got kicked out of a place.
But I didn't get
Why
kicked-
is that?
I didn't get
Why? What is like,
Yeah, I didn't get kicked out by Kenny. I got kicked out by the guy that I was with, because he was so scared that because I pulled up a chair. He was like, "What do you think you're doing?" And I said, "I was like, you guys are eating. I know I got here a little late." And he goes, "No, the opportunity's over. It's done. You can't come in here now."
That's right.
And I was like, "I think it's
That
fine."
is right out of the soup.
Yeah,
Nazi.
and I
That's-
looked over to the guys and I was like, "Guys, is it okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's fine, it's fine." And I was like, "See, it's fine." And he's like, "I can't believe you're doing this." And he was like,
was
"You got to get out of here."
He was serious?
Yeah, like so.
He
I stood
really
up,
didn't like
I
it.
stood up and I was like, "Are you serious? You really?" He's like, "Dude, you are making a scene now." And I was like,
Are you kidding?
I thought. You're sort of making the scene. Everyone thinks it's okay, but
And
he
you-
was like,
he
"No,
was
dude,
having a full
this is
meltdown."
not cool." And then later, I was like, "You know what? I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go." And I left.
And you left.
So I sort of, I guess I would say
You kicked yourself out.
I kicked myself
but
out.
with pressure though.
I
From
felt
a
the
friend.
pressure, and then later,
I hope
he
you
said-
guys. I hope you never forgave him for that. By the way, I hope you hate his guts now. How does the story go?
We've talked about it. At some point, we will go back. I said, I'll redeem myself.
Did he
and we'll go
apologize,
back.
or does he? Still
He
think
apologized,
you,
but he was like, "Dude, you know the rules. Like you can't push it. Like you can't push that."
That is wild. We gotta find this place.
Yeah,
First time out.
it's
I
amazing
just know the
stuff.
Soup Nazi is actually on 56, and
Right.
it's actually a Soup Nazi.
Yeah, I think it's a
place.
combination of
actually
both.
the guy?
But
both
what,
guys.
but what he's describing
Kenny-
is out of Seinfeld.
That is
Yeah,
right out
and
of
Kenny's
Seinfeld.
documentary it's outstanding. He's got this great philosophy on like kids aren't that great. Like everyone thinks their kids are so great. You know, he's like, the reality is people aren't that great. You're not that special. And like he is, but he's like, but then people do amazing things. I don't know. You should watch it. It's called
that.
I Like Killing Flies. And it's awesome. I think he's definitely like a true New Yorker.
What's his name?
Kenny Shopsin.
Kenny Shopsin.
Yeah, and the story goes, Kenny was cooking and Danny was eating, and so was Josh. And he said, "You two, you guys are in the same business. You guys should talk. You guys should work together."
Amazing.
And just like that was like, oh, next thing you know, now we're wrapped by Gold Village.
That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That is cool.
New York
That's
City,
a great
man.
story,
Kenny Shopsin.
dude.
I owe him a lot.
Thanks for telling that.
Yeah, isn't that good?
That's real good.
New York City.
Fuck, dude. New York City's the best.
It's wild, isn't
I
it?
fucking love it.
I do too.
I honestly do.
It's the anything can happen here, man. Which
Yeah.
I was going to say before I forget too, because we met briefly at Don DeLego's Christmas thing last year. He was doing his like Neil Young set.
Oh, okay. And I played.
You came up and you did.
Oh yeah.
you
Rockin'
did a
in the
tune.
Free World and something
I can't
else.
remember. Cinnamon Girl.
I know I didn't do A Man Needs a Maid. I won't do that one. I won't do that. But Cinnamon Girl I did.
Yeah, you did Cinnamon Girl.
yeah.
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you,
You did a
sir.
killer version. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
But I remember being in the backstage area, and those bars are so neat. That was the first time I'd ever seen you go into a back room and there's another bartender hanging out but I'm just serving drinks for the people back here.
Yeah.
And it was really bizarre, but there were so many people.
Yeah.
And I remember
That's where we.
this was at Coney Island, baby.
That's where we filmed this podcast out of for I almost said years, but
Well,
it
for
hasn't
a
been
good-
years.
nice.
We've only been having this podcast for months. So
Right.
feels like years. No, but and I live right over that.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. I should edit that out, but who cares?
Well, that's fine.
Whatever.
It's not called that anymore.
I'm a ninja, so come after me. See what happens to you. I mean, come on.
The black shoes goes with the ninja. I was gonna say that.
They
earlier.
are. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get myself a pair of those.
You're definitely gonna need them, dude.
Just keep them as house slippers.
Well,
basically.
like
I won't
like,
be able to run in those.
The whole thing about like the movement thing, I was just like going like, why am I like so into it? It's like it just opens up so many other avenues in your brain when you hear that. That is really mind blowing. It's so like on one level, it's like, okay, not a big deal. Like the brain arose. What is the way that sentence is? The brain arose to coordinate movement.
The brain arose
to coordinate
movement.
That's it. And without,
beautiful.
Like, and if you think about it, there's nothing that you do that isn't muscle movement, including like writing, talking, blinking, everything, and how complicated all this movement is. That's the reason we have giant brains, because we have giant brains, and then we're upright. You know, we walk upright. Like, that's so bizarre,
it's
too.
It's crazy.
Like, isn't it crazy?
It's a crazy thing to see.
Like, it's psychedelic when you think humans are just, like, walking around upright. Like, it's so, like, think about other animals are down.
I know.
We're like...
Bears walk upright.
We're like, yo, we're upright. What the... Yeah, but bears are upright, and they're kind of like, oh, we supposed to be upright now? We're down again. Now we're upright.
Yeah.
Humans, we're just like, we're fucking upright, bruh.
It's true.
We walk, and then we're running now. This book I got, Born to Run, about that Mexican tribe that runs these ultra marathons. That's the other thing I was thinking yesterday when that guy said about the brain arose to coordinate movement, and now how human beings more recently are running these ultra marathons, like running like 100 miles. Oh, like this new one, the Mahe 4000. It's 160 miles through the desert. Or whatever. I just made that up, but you know what I mean. But those races,
100-mile things are nuts.
Like, and people are doing this like it's nothing now.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking that's a direct correlation to humanity, like the human consciousness evolving.
Right.
Like all of us are like this mass awakening's happening, and humans' capacity for movement is increasing to some crazy levels. So yesterday when he said that too, I started thinking of that those ultra marathons too, and going like, "Wow, it's all connected." Like, you know, like it's really weird. Anyway, it was a trip I was on, but I think it makes sense. But yeah, so when you get into this, it wakes up all kinds of new synapses.
Have you had any ailments or like drawbacks from it?
No, it's just real sore. Like when you run, but your calves get, I think I might take out my calf implants. I don't think I need them anymore.
You don't need them anymore?
I think I'm going to take them. One of them popped. I'm going to take the other one out. I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
I don't have calf implants, but yeah, they build your calves up.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, they're super cool karate shoes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
An all-purpose ninja shoe that you can run in, box in, yoga in. Is that like it? Because there's the whole yoga thing. I asked you before about the Bikram thing. So that's like
that guy. I guess he's a creeper, but that doesn't mean yoga. That guy just like took.
Well, here's what I wanted to ask you about, because the one thing that I took away from it that I thought was the coolest, where I was like, because people will say, "Oh man, you totally should do it. It's so amazing," and you go, "Okay, I should do it. I'm gonna get there at some point." I got some friends who teach it, but in the documentary, this woman was talking, and I'm not 100% sure how she said it. I'll paraphrase it, but she said, "Yoga found me, and usually can find people at their most broken."
Oh, yeah, that's how.
And for me, like I broke my arm in May while I was on tour,
setting up the stage, right?
Yeah, and I kept thinking, because I'm like now, like I'm trying, I can't do push-ups yet, and I can't, so I'm getting there.
It's a good time for yoga, then, dude.
Do you think so? Because I kept thinking like, like I've got to do those poses, and there's stuff you can't do. But then when she said that in the documentary, I was like, oh, that's interesting, man. I'll have to ask you about that. 'Cause I know
that happened to me.
Really?
I was at my most broken, for sure.
Yeah.
It was like, I was using boxing to kind of save me out of that kind of stuff, out of heavy trauma. And I got way into boxing based on heavy trauma.
Wow.
And but then I broke my finger boxing.
Okay.
And I needed that movement. And I didn't yet know how, like, this whole, like, that the brain arose to coordinate movement.
Yeah.
But I became a movement junkie. Like, and it was
Got
like,
it.
And so I went into starting to do yoga every single day because I couldn't box anymore for a while.
Oh, interesting.
And so then I fell more in love with yoga than even boxing. But then when my hand healed, then I started boxing. I'm going boxing after we do our podcast.
Yeah.
Where
do you do that?
I do it at Trinity.
Okay.
Downtown New York City.
There's that one that's in Dumbo that I know it's like the old.
I've gone to that one too.
Gone to that one? Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. But
I'm intimidated by that
when you
place.
take into account that the brain arose to coordinate movement, suddenly, like the idea of like, oh, I should start boxing, I should start yoga, it has more gravitas.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm going to start like this athletic thing because it's good to move for depression. Right. You know, they downplay it. It's like, no, your brain is designed for you to move. So if you're going to then do all these coordinated movements where you're getting better all the time and operating, all you're doing is engaging your brain for its function. What do you think that's going to do for the rest of your life? Your brain is going to wake up all kinds of new neural, like plasticity, all that shit, neural pathways and all that.
Right.
And your art is going to improve. Your music's going to improve. Your life is going to improve. You know, the whole thing.
So what do you think, like when you're doing it, is it the goal to not think about anything?
When I'm doing yoga, I usually have a mantra in my mind and I'm following my breath.
Okay.
And so I'm like, so it's an active meditation.
Okay. So that's how you look at. So yoga, you would call that's a good way to say it. So it's like active meditating.
It's an active meditation. Like today, for instance, I did like 2 hours and 15 minutes, then plus like Savasana, so like an extra 15 minutes on top of that. So
no, what's that? What's that?
Savasana is the final relaxation afterwards, the meditation. Okay. So basically 2 hours and 30 minutes in a hot room without your phone. Like, dude, that's how you start your day. And then plus you drink a ton of water. So you're getting all the water too that they always tell you should be drinking. True. So you start your day nailing all the water you should drink and no phone for 2.5 hours, and you meditated most of that time. Then you also take a cold shower after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's part of the deal?
That's part of the deal.
Okay.
Then you do a six egg fucking
and then you eat
drink.
You guzzle 6 eggs.
Boom, dude.
And then you talk to Scott for 2 hours.
And then you talk to Scott for 2 hours and you crash.
Good.
Oh, man. Wow. I like that active meditating, though. I like the idea
It
of
doesn't
saying
work if
active.
you don't talk to Scott after.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
So we'll have to just coordinate this, set this up so we can do that.
Well, you're the Matt Damon, so I guess you'll be a
Matt Damon.
You'll be a reoccurring guest. You know?
I love it. That's so good.
So what do you guys do? So what's going on now? Like, have you...
Well, I'm excited about our show that we're doing.
Yeah, oh, that's right. We're playing... You're bringing me back. I haven't been to Ohio for a few years.
Dude, we're going to do it up. We're going to bring you back to Swenson's, go to Hamburger Station, do all sorts of Akron stuff.
Because it's been a minute since I've been back to Ohio, so it should probably be. Are you going to come?
Maybe.
I hope you come, dude.
Dude,
why don't you
totally
come?
should come.
Can you come?
Yeah, if we're going for the day, you know.
Let's go for the day. Let's drive.
Have you been to the Goodyear Theater before? Have you ever been there?
No.
So that
really
theater
hasn't been in Ohio.
Dude, you know where
time.
I've been playing is Tangiers on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, Tangiers. Okay, sure.
But I haven't been doing it for a while. I had a kind of a falling out with my family.
Okay.
So it's a little rough. But I mean, so emotionally, I might be fragile.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I might, I don't think I will though. I'm going to embrace it. I feel like actually this is helping me know that I won't be fragile. I think I'm going to be good, and especially if you come with me for moral support.
Yeah. Well, and I also think it's cool too to be like, it's not like, hey man, you're gonna come back and play a room that you used to play all the time. But there's like weird memories. It's like I think it's a cool thing.
Thank you for that. You're right.
To be like coming into a new thing. Never done this before.
New chapter in Ohio.
With new friends.
Yeah.
With new friends.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you having me on the show.
Hold on. You know what? I got a totem for you too.
Okay,
hold on. Get 1 sec.
Okay.
Drink it. I brought this.
Oh wow! Thank you.
This theater is actually in Akron.
Is it in Akron?
I don't know. Where is it? Oh, wow. Look at that. That's insane.
Wow, dude.
The wonderful world of Ohio.
Yeah.
Dude, that's actually
show it to the camera.
Actually, it's actually got me a little emotional, dude.
Did the
honestly, bro, this really I'm it's getting a little bright in here for me right now. Honestly, I swear to God, dude.
That's so nice.
That's really fucking nice, dude. Honestly,
I used to go run around and collect them all the time. They'd find them at like,
dude,
you know,
that is really.
Is that from
sweet.
like a truck stop?
No, they're from. Well, it's from the old. So yeah, like I think like they're old. The Jim Beam
That's
years ago in like the
dude.
'70s.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Of course,
I really
of course.
appreciate it. That's
This is
really nice of you.
they did them for different states, and I think it's wild to see like this little look at they even went to so much trouble to think of like look at like the cork is like now stuck there. This is the top, but it's the little Buckeye on the top. They were so smart. They created this and they sell it in the store like with Jim Beam in it. I wish they'd go back and do that kind of stuff again. That's back when they did really cool stuff. Yeah, but they did one for every state, or I think so anyway. Yeah, but they would you'd find them at secondhand stores all over Ohio.
Talking to the mic, Joe.
Yeah, it feels like Ohio embracing me or something. Or
it is,
yeah,
dude.
like
I just think it's so. This was one of the coolest ones because I've seen other states
dude,
and you're like, man,
thank
that's
you so
lame.
much, man.
So this is your hometown show.
Well, it's not. I mean, the band still calls Columbus home. That's where we
home state show.
But it's a home state
Columbus
show.
to me is full Ohio.
It's full Ohio.
Yeah, I accept Columbus is Ohio. Like,
Yeah,
you've already
I
got
would
like
say so.
Cincinnati.
I
can't, but
Yeah.
like Columbus, yeah, that's Ohio. Still.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and that's
It's
the one
less
thing.
than Akron, like in Cleveland. I mean, that's like
I'm definitely a Northeast. I'm definitely a big fan of the Northeast part of the
Northeast
state.
Ohio.
Yeah.
So
And
let's be clear. What's the date? What's the city?
the date.
What's the venue?
So we're playing
Yeah.
the Goodyear Theater in Akron on December 28th. So
Yeah.
we're closing out that's that last Saturday of this year, and it's going to be awesome. Goodyear Theater is a beautiful room. The theater was originally built just for Goodyear employees. That's what's insane to me when you think that
How
like,
big the
that,
tire industry.
That tire industry was so big that they're like they have a whole campus. That's what
Yeah.
they call it. They're like, oh, so the Firestone campus and the Goodyear campus.
Yeah.
And you go walking around, it's like a university of just that, and there's a gym connected to this beautiful theater that was simply built so the employees could be like, oh, there's you have a national tour of whatever, musical. Oh, come on in and you guys get tickets. And it's only closed like to Goodyear employees. So just recently it's now been reopened in the Elevation Group, which is a Cleveland organization. Those guys are amazing and they've been super supportive to us and they help put this whole thing on. So
That's awesome.
Really rad. It's exciting.
So that's really cool. And have you guys played there before?
Mm-hmm.
It's an annual show?
We're trying to make this our annual end of the year show. So this will be our third year. This will be the third time that we've done the room. Yeah.
Wow.
It's really cool. That's cool. We did, for a long time we did like a New Year's show and we were trying to pick a different city.
Yeah.
And we were going around trying to, do different parts of the state. And we did, we did one in Youngstown, did one in Kent, one in Cincinnati, which, again,
Kentucky.
come on. Kentucky, yeah. But
Cincinnati, Kentucky, you mean?
Yeah. But we did Cleveland, and I honestly thought like we're gonna leave it at Cleveland. We'll be like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this in Cleveland from we'll just make it at the end of the year. This place, I don't think we can do better. But then we saw the Goodyear Theater, and we're like, oh man, we got to do this here. So
Akron's
we did it.
Crazy.
I love it. I think it's a great town.
Fucking AA's from Akron, dude.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
It got invented in Akron, Ohio, dude.
Wow.
The first ever AA meeting is in Akron, Ohio, and it's still active.
Really?
Yeah, you can go. You can go to the first one. Like it's actually like down the street from where the first one took off. But
whoa.
But if you think about that, like how impactful the 12-step movement has been to the world.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Like how many lives has that fucking thing saved?
Sure.
How much suffering has that thing, annulled?
Yeah.
I mean, and it came out of Ohio. It's pretty special.
So much stuff came from Ohio. I think I'm always blown away. I mean, again, we don't make as much stuff in America anymore,
right?
You know, but like that whole state, everywhere. I mean, all over the place. You'll see. I mean, obviously, Youngstown it's crazy to drive through there and see how much they used to build, and same with Akron, same with Cleveland, but even everything down to like, you know, like there's I like collecting these like old, you know, these old lamps and, you know, the kind of stuff that our, you know, grandpas had in the garage, like at the workbench, these lights, and they're called Fostoria lamps, like Fostoria lights. That's the brand. And I found out that as we were running around, I'm trying to collect these things. And people are like, man, they're hard to get. And I was like, I don't know, man. I find them in Ohio quite a bit. And it's like, well, they're from Fostoria, Ohio, idiot. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, yeah, man, just like that's the place they used to make them.
That's
and then
funny.
there's Dayton lamps. And you're like, oh, I guess they made them in Dayton.
I didn't know
there's
that.
so much manufacturing all over that state. It's so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
I just think it's wild that like, and there's a lot of those companies that aren't around anymore, but there's still a lot of stuff that's around. That Gerstner company in Dayton, they make sweet furniture and
oh, really?
all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah.
Do you go to Jersey where you grew up now, or
I go see my family. I visit my family.
They still live there?
They still live there. Yeah.
That's cool.
And I like it. I wish there were more places to play in New Jersey.
Well, there was that one place in Hoboken. Maxwell's. They closed that down. I love that little place.
Well, now there's in Jersey City. There's White Eagle Hall.
Oh, okay.
It's a really nice room. Really
cool.
nice.
The only place we ever played was we would always go to Asbury Park and we'd play the Saint, which is a really cool room. And Scott, who owned it, was always awesome.
I want to play there.
And
I want to play Asbury Park more.
It's also Asbury Lanes.
I like that.
Asbury Lanes now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to play there too.
But that whole area is really they've done a really great job at like
Danny
cleaning that up.
See Here Now Festival, all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
they're making that whole area like really happen again. Yeah, it's really cool. It's
so
good.
what's next for you guys? Are you guys touring a lot this next year? Did you putting out a new record? What's the deal?
We just sort of got finished kind of ending out touring on our latest record called The Wanting, which was released like a year and a half ago, which was our first album that we did with a new label called Blue Elan out of LA, and we're going to be making another record with them. So this year is...
Why a label? Why not independent? Because you guys started out independent and gathered a lot of success that way. Yeah. So why have you chosen to go into like other labels and not doing it yourself?
I think that labels are very different now.
Yeah, they don't do shit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They don't do shit, dude.
I don't know like it is.
Bro, they don't. Like, because, like, back before, they used to, like, anyway.
Well, that's interesting. We
calm down. Like,
but we're
okay,
coming.
some labels do stuff. I'm just saying, some labels don't.
That's good, though, because we're both coming at it from a different point.
Yeah.
So you were signed in, like,
label.
the 90s, major label.
Yeah. Well,
stuff,
Peter
right?
Gabriel's label, and by the way, I'm not dissing all, like, my former labels. I'm really not. Like they've done
They've done a lot.
They could have done more. But no, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. No, they did a lot. I got my start with Real World, and I'm grateful to them and all the labels I've worked with. But just I don't know. Like more recently, because the way the music business has turned now, it's almost like, what can they even do? Should be more the question. Like, unless they're going to put like a shit ton of money in some radio promo campaign,
right?
Then I don't really see why anybody would sign with a label.
Well, I guess what your expectations are has everything to do with why you would want to be with a label or not. I think, as somebody who started when we were kids, we just played endlessly and saved up money, made the record, toured, and then spent all the money on the record, and then would tour for, until we could do it again, like every 2 years. And we did that. We've been doing that forever. But we were always a band that we never were signed to any major. And the friends that we had.
And you crushed it.
Well, we did. I think I'm really proud of what we did. I'm really proud of what we've done and what we've accomplished.
You guys are really successful. Yeah. It's like hard to do what you guys are doing. Like it's like that. I mean, I'm sure because I mean, I know I'm always like wanting more and looking for like, wait, but I want that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have your version of that, but like you definitely have like risen from the
Thanks, man.
The muckety muck.
Well, I think that, again, like, that was at a time, though, that the friends that we knew that were getting signed to bands, or the bands that were getting signed to labels, were, you would hear more horror stories than success stories. It was like, yo, congratulations. And then what's going on next? And it's like, I don't know. Like, no one's working for the next 15 months. We made a record, and then we've been sitting, we've been waiting. Oh, they released us, and now everyone's got,
We've heard those.
Yeah, you've heard all these stories.
They won't
and
return your phone calls, but they won't drop you either.
Yeah, or you always hear these stories, and we just
trapped.
And I remember saying, like, we're just gonna keep sticking to what we do, and keep, I felt like our touring for years, at least for the first 10 to 15 years, was like we were playing 150 shows a year, and it was just concentric circles. Like, that's how we started. We just kept.
It wasn't building. It was just staying the same.
No. I'm saying, like, we just kept growing by saying, like, okay, like, this is our circle. This is where we tour within, and then, like, let's pick, like, the next farthest city out,
slowly spreading out.
Keep going. And to quote Danny Goldberg, he said, "You guys are on the 45-year plan. When 45 years from now, you guys will be able to say you sell out everywhere you go." Right. He's like, but it's because it's grass, like, it's real grassroots touring. But I always felt that was the way. That's how we did it. We came into a town and we would play, build something, and some of my favorite places in the country are places that, are not normal touring stops for bands, but are places that we created something or started something there, and it's done well. Middle of Nebraska, there's a city called Kearney, spelled Kearney, and we started. The honest truth was, our agent, the same one who didn't want us to play Michigan, said, "Go and play this town, because then you got 6 hours to Denver, but it's a good stopping place. They'll hire you for like 2 days. You can." Get the oil changed and whatever and keep going. And so we started playing there. And at one point, everything sort of turned, and it's like, we're not going to Denver anymore. We're just going out to play this place.
Kearney.
And the people would say, like, what are you doing out there? Like, what is going on? And then it went from like 2 nights to then 3 nights. Yeah. And
dude, 3 nights in Kearney? That's killer.
It's crazy. It's a great place.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
If you can get, like, the middle of the country, you can get people coming.
Yeah.
That's strange and unusual behavior nowadays, dude.
Yeah. And now, actually, that's a lot of our Omaha fan bases are people
rad.
that have come over from there. One of my favorite things too is, and it hangs in our bus. We got a key to the city of Kearney, Nebraska. The mayor came up and gave us the key on stage, which is insane when you think, wild. I never got a key from a hometown.
Yeah.
Like, why would I, and
like they adopted you guys.
They were like, this, your band is real special to us. And if we go out and we do stuff there as much as we can, but things like that,
that's fantastic.
Where a lot of bands would say, like, we play the
why
coast.
The label though? So let's
go back to the label,
so
right?
Because that you're illustrating my point even more with this Kearney thing. No label can get you a key to the city in Kearney.
Well, right, but I don't think,
like, no label. I don't give a fuck. You could be on fucking Columbia Records.
I think
you're not getting a key to the city in Kearney, bro.
Right, it's true.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that should be a selling point for labels. We could get you the key to Kearney if you sign with us.
You'd be like, you're lying to me. I know you can't.
I think the labels, at least this label, I think there's young new labels that have a different philosophy than the way it used to be. So I don't know I don't know how it used to work, but I know that I can't speak for other labels. I can speak for the one that we're on and what we went with them. But they believed in the music, and they actually they're very. I think that they really liked how self-sufficient we were, and they appreciated that, and they're like extra hands, pushing the vehicle down the road. So for us,
hopefully it's extra dollars, bro, because it's like, you believe in the band, great, follow me on Instagram.
right.
But like, if you're gonna go ahead and give me a shitload of money, a bag, then okay, let's sign.
Well, yeah, I think as a band who's been doing it alone for the whole majority of our career, I think having that additional the additional hands, additional parts of a team.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
It can feel that way, but again, it depends on who, what team you have in place. And I'm excited. What we like about the label is because they're a young label, and they've got, I think they have a lot of potential. And the guys that were the most excited about us are the people that we're working with. So.
Yeah, go with where the enthusiasm is.
That's what I believe, man. I believe you have to go with whoever has the most enthusiasm for it. That's why we signed to Fanatic Records, because Josh
you had
Bloom.
a 3-album deal.
We did
with
a
them?
3-album deal with them.
What happened with that?
I mean, we're still on good terms. They were a great label. They just, we did the 3 albums, and I felt like we did as much as we could with them.
Yeah.
And we got done with that and kind of said, let's just see what else is out there. And but Josh was like, the other guy, Sean, it was basically 2 guys who did the label, but Josh was the big soldier, and he was a huge fan of the band, and he got us on because he lived in Lower East Side for years doing PR work, and he was great. And he said, he saw it, and I don't know how else to say it, but if you find someone who says, I believe in what you do, I feel like you're going to get a ton more mileage out of that than somebody who's like, I want to work with you because you're like the cool person, or you're supposed to be, the guy I'm supposed to work, or girl I'm supposed to work with. I think if somebody has actual passion for what you do, isn't that what we're all looking for?
Yeah, it goes a long way.
It goes a long way.
Yeah, you need help, I guess.
Yeah.
My manager was like, look, let's just do it ourselves. It's like he goes, he works with major labels because he manages a few different bands, and he was just like, dude, let's do it ourselves.
It's true.
And so I was like, okay, if you're willing to take on that extra, so yeah, I'm afforded to do it on my own because.
Well, you just put one out in October.
Yeah, just put one out. Yeah, it's going okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, but
Well, see, and you know what? And it's funny because I actually. This last record, The Wanting, where we met with Blue Elan, that happened because we were originally talking. My friend Will produced the record. He's a Nashville guy named Will Hogue, and he's a great artist, great dude. And we released.
What else does he do?
Will? He's primarily a singer-songwriter.
Yeah, I know that.
Wait, aren't we having him on?
I know his name.
Oh, you should have him on. He's a hoot, man.
Oh no, Josh Rouse. I think.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, Josh Rouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Never
yeah. That name sounds nothing like
no, it's
the other name.
They're both singer-songwriters
in Nashville.
I just happened to also cross paths with.
It's either Will or Josh.
Right. Hogue and Rouse. Same amount of letters.
Well, we originally talked about maybe releasing it through his label, and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and it ultimately just felt to us like, you know what, with what we're looking at, we're just going to release it ourselves. So we actually went after it, like we're going and just doing it ourselves. And Blue Elan came in, and they actually, seemed so supportive, and they were like, we're cool, like we want to learn from you too, and see how you're doing this. So we know you're a moving train, but we're willing to jump on if you let us. So we're like, okay.
That's cool.
And we're like, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's how. So the help that we've gotten from them is more than I think and that's a big thing. The litmus test for us is like, as you look back and do it, where you say, could I have done that on my own? Would we have gotten that without them? And there's when you start to see, okay, there's definitely things that we've gotten to that and done that we wouldn't have been able to do on our own. So that's.
Yeah. Well, and plus you're coming at it with the, I guess, ethos that you are self-sufficient, and so that doesn't need to sort of be like born into you because you're already bringing that energy, and that's good energy. Like for my case, like it's like a paradigm shift. Like when I'm doing it on my own, then I take full responsibility for every single thing. I'm not waiting around for anybody to do anything, and I know nobody's going to do anything. So that's an empowering like shift. Like it's got to come from us, everything. So it's like, and then if a label comes in where you're moving on that level, I think that is probably better. Like, and that's kind of what you're saying, I think.
But I think that again, like that's always been my philosophy.
Yeah.
Like our band's had no choice but to be like,
we're making this
like
happen.
No one's gonna do work for you if you're not doing it yourself. You have to do everything. Don't wait on anybody to deliver you anything.
That's good philosophy in life in general. If you're an artist, or just even a human being, if you're waiting for anybody to do anything for you, stop waiting.
Yeah, it's all on you, dude.
It's on you, man.
That's
like,
it.
you got to make it happen.
Yep.
You know, and it's easy to fall into that sort of victim mentality and be like, oh, when's it gonna?
Yeah, they haven't
when's
called us
somebody
back.
gonna open my doors up for me? It's
Right.
like, and believe me, I'm not I'm not judging, because I've spent years of my life going, when's somebody gonna open a door for me? You know,
Right.
like I've done that. I get it, but like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You got open your own damn doors.
You have to do it.
You have to. Do
That's
you
how-
do anything like manifestation work? Anything like Abraham Hicks, like power of like your mind to manifest things into reality? Do you ever think like along those lines?
I don't follow any specific philosophy in that regard. I would say I'm a big believer of like, I remember thinking, I used to smoke and
Crack or
well, cigarettes mostly.
Oh, okay.
But
Good.
to this day, it's one of my proudest things in my life that I was able to quit that, because I honestly thought
it's heavy duty.
I thought for years.
I smoked a couple cigarettes last night. I'm not proud of
Yeah.
it.
See, if you can do it and enjoy it and then leave it,
Nah, it's
more power to you.
Yeah.
But I was a guy, like, if I could go years not smoke, and if I smoked one cigarette
You would
last
start
night,
a pack a
this
day.
morning I'd be like, I bought a pack, and that's just how I was.
Yeah, no,
So-
I've been like that in the past. For some reason, I'm not like that now. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm doing all this other movement work and yoga and stuff, and it's
Right.
like, so I just know it's like, okay, once I leave the party,
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna go buy a pack of cigarettes. And I also
That's
have like
nice.
nicotine candies and shit. So
Do
it's
you?
like, if I need like nicotine, I can just like throw one of those in.
You know, I tried to do that
Yeah.
stuff, and I found out. Well, I didn't do the candy, but I remember trying to quit, and I had then like, it was just
Yeah.
years ago, but they had those. It was called like snus. They were like little packages.
I love those.
Yeah, dude, you could swallow the juice.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you don't have to
Yeah,
spit, because I was
they're
never fond of
from
the spitting.
Norway.
Yeah, so I got those, and I was like, oh, this will make me quit, and I started getting weird, uncontrollable hiccups.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop it. And I was like, oh my God, something's going on. And I get
Yeah.
these splotches on my throat. And I ultimately
they're
saw
no
a
good.
doctor, because I was like, what's going on with me? I don't know what's going on. And my doctor was like, you're allergic to tobacco, you idiot. And I didn't know that. I thought,
That's funny.
I was like, I've been smoking for years. And they said, well, you can you can still have the allergy, but you don't get it when you smoke cigarettes. But getting back to it,
That's funny.
What you were saying, I don't think that, like, I've had bouts where I've quit drinking completely, and then I've quit smoking, and I'm glad I've never gone back to that. But that in my mind was, I'll have a in my mind saying to myself, no more good shall come to me without a form of sacrifice. So like there gets that thing of like, okay, like I think that's how I work. So I definitely have moments
Where'd
of
you get that mantra?
motivation. I don't know. I'm trying.
That's like some old like biblical type shit.
I don't know.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's like it's like some collective unconscious wisdom popping up in your brain.
I don't know. Yeah, I believe actually.
That's true though.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
It's like deeply true. Like
Yeah.
you have to sacrifice.
Yeah, I wish I actually knew where I could say I got that from, because I don't know that I made it up. But I just felt that was my truth. That's what I felt. I felt like, there's just no more good can come to me without showing, some sort of a sacrifice, whether it be quit drinking for now. And that was a big thing for me for years, because playing roadhouses in the middle of America can be, there was definitely a lot of crazy nights, and playing and being done till like 3 a.m. and getting in a vehicle and being like, okay, going to the next place. And there were a lot of there was a lot of things we probably shouldn't have done that we did.
Drinking and driving wise.
And I feel like, and I just felt like for drinking, it just made me affable. I always wanted to be, you want to be the person, like you go to a town and people are excited to see you, and you want to be whatever that person is that they want you to be. And nothing makes that train go faster than being like, oh, there's drinks and
Couple
there's all this
shots.
stuff, Yeah. And for me, I felt like I had to draw a line somewhere and say, I can't, I need to, it's still work, it's still work. And you gotta, and I feel like, again, you are a perfect example of this. To have any stamina in this industry, you've got to be an athlete,
dude.
for the industry, and in life.
In general,
run,
yeah.
Be healthy, work out.
Especially you get to like up into our 40s,
yeah,
or, and beyond. It's like without a doubt,
Sure.
I am so psyched about that aspect of my life now that it's like. And I was judging it before, like, I guess I'm a lughead now that I like this almost more than even making art. Like, what's up? Like, and now I realize, it's because my brain is getting off on this. Like, it's not just, like, it's my brain is happy about this. Like, that makes total sense.
Let me ask you this, though. Do you miss the open spaces? Because I don't know how much you travel. Because I love the city, and I'm so glad that we're in a career that we can cherry pick places, and you get to go, oh yeah, I've been there, I've seen that, I've gone to these places, and it's wonderful to have that worldly view, and you can always come back to New York City, and I love New York City, and it's a great place. But I also I have had this overwhelming urge lately to be like, buy an axe and go in the woods.
Oh,
and just
dude,
chop wood.
Yeah, dude, I'm
that.
with you.
Oh, I feel it more, and maybe it's like as you get older, I don't know what it is, but it's like that desire of I gotta get out of here,
5G,
man.
dude. It's 5G. It's being surrounded by all this like craziness and information in the wild world, and it's like, and you get older, you want to farm and you want to bug out. You want to I get it. I want like.
I don't know how long I could last out there. Like as far as like if I
ideally,
gave it all up.
Ideally, you just get your spot upstate.
Yeah.
Ideally, you have that upstate spot, and then you have your city spot. And that seems like perfect.
Yeah, my wife and I, we daydream about it all the time. We go up there a lot, exploring and looking around. Catskills are amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I want that.
Catskills, Woodstock, whatever.
Such an awesome
love that.
spot. At this time of the year, too, like the fall, it's unbelievable.
Listen to this. This was I was at the first Thanksgiving party I was at yesterday.
How many did you go to?
Well, I just went to like the 2 or whatever. But I
texted you what you were doing last night. You said making music.
I was making music at that point. Then I went to a dinner, and then it went off, as only New York can. It's like that Rosanna Arquette movie called what's it called? When Martin Scorsese directed it, about New York Soho in the 80s.
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, Rosanna Arquette.
I don't follow her.
Shout
her
out
filmography.
Rosanna Arquette.
Yeah.
Okay. She.
We've had her on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's friends with Joe.
That's great.
Arquette, Martin, Scorsese.
Joe was in a movie with her.
Get out of here.
After Hours. It's called After Hours.
Wait, with Griffin Dunn?
Yeah. It's
I
one of
love
the best
that movie.
movies ever.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, After Hours.
Now, Martin Scorsese did that movie?
He's directed it.
Wow.
It doesn't seem like one of his.
No, I don't know why I thought that was like a Terry
mafia
Gilliam
people aren't
film.
shooting each other in the head in it.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
No, it's amazing. And that's how New York is, and that's what my night was like last night. Like
wow.
That movie encapsulates the way New York nights can just like develop in these weird ways where you're like suddenly in some. So at the first party, like, and this is when I'm avoiding the drinking, and this is going to justify me smoking a cigarette, but it's somewhat of a true justification in my mind. Okay. And there was a grad student from Norway there, and she had like rollies, and my good friend came in, and he had these like wild like joints and like this like they were like these really fancy joints, and he started smoking one like in the party, and I hit that a couple times, but then she was like starting to smoke a cigarette, and she was like. And I'm like, are you allowed to do that? And then she goes, well, you were smoking a joint. And I'm like, hey, don't pin that on me, man. My friend lit that. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but I didn't light that thing up. It got passed to me. And I took a polite hit. So then this guy who looked like had like, beard and looked kind of like, kind of working class guy. Goes, I'm the building manager. We can go down to my apartment and smoke. And so I was like, okay, can I bum a rollie and I'll go down there with you guys. Yeah. And this other guy came too. And then we go down to his house. And one floor down, and then right before he goes, the girl looks at me. She goes, wait for this. I've heard about what his apartment is. And it's the guy's name is Frankie Christmas.
Wow, that's a great name.
He's obsessed with Christmas.
Oh, okay. So it's not his real last name.
No, but he's upset. But he has Merry Christmas tattooed on his back.
Whoa.
He has all kinds of Christmas themed tattoos. And then I looked. I saw that he had tats and stuff, but I didn't see they were Christmas themed. And then I look and they're like, like candy canes and shit. And they're like, he's like really into Christmas. You go into his apartment and it was like, boom. It was like this amazing Christmas, like you never seen an apartment so Christmas decorated. Man. It was unbelievable. And
it's like that all the time.
So weird.
It's like that all the time. Like, and and he's like
in July,
and he shows us around, and it's like, yeah, Christmas in July. He talks about that, and then like on in his bed, everything like the Mac and like the whole thing was Christmas themed. It was cold in there because he really likes cold weather, so he keeps all the windows open.
So he had like Christmas lights everywhere and all sorts of wacky.
Dude, beyond. Yeah. It was just like I don't know if you just walk in and you're like, holy shit! I'll never look at Christmas the same way. This guy's so into Christmas, like. And then he said his name is Frankie Christmas, and I was like, "This is so new. This is amazing in New York. This shit happens. Like you're like hanging out with Frankie Christmas.
Probably everything is against code in that apartment. He's
the building manager.
I'd love to see the electrical. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
But then I was like, like what? Like why are you so into Christmas? And he goes. And this is funny. He's like, or not funny, but interesting. He goes, well, one year my mom had a heart attack and she couldn't decorate for Christmas. And I said, don't worry, Mom, I'll decorate. And and then every year, so it was based on this trauma of almost losing his mom. And every year he got more and more into
just doing the Christmas.
Doing Christmas. So that's how he became Frankie Christmas.
Frankie Christmas.
Isn't that interesting?
It's a beautiful story.
It is nice. I mean, yeah.
It was like
whatever works.
It's getting bright in here.
Yeah. No, I know. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And his son is an MMA fighter, like badass. Like it was on the wall. Like, and Frankie Christmas lost a shitload of weight. Anyway, that's it. He was a cool dude. Wow. It's a great night. Really fun.
That's awesome. I could see that though. I've seen there's a few like Christmas wonderlands I've seen around the country where you're like, what's this doing in Texas? Like, why is everyone like enormous places?
Some people get way into it.
Michigan, up in Frankenmuth, there's a Bronner's Christmas Wonderland. It's a thing. But these are people that are all selling the stuff. But this guy just like lives the lifestyle. He's into the Christmas lifestyle.
He's a lifer. He's got Merry Christmas tattooed on his back, dude. Really he showed us that. He's in.
Did he have like the plastic blow mold snowmen and stuff in the house?
I mean, dude, it's all full on. It's beyond what you could even imagine. I don't think there was plastic blow molds. I mean, it is a New York City apartment,
right?
So
I dig that because like as kids,
but he had it all. Oh, dude, he had a light show.
Okay,
it's. It was wild. It was next level.
That electrical it's nightmarish.
He said he leaves them on all like the whole time, and there's Christmas music playing year round.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That can get old for me. That would be tough.
Yeah, that'd be tough. A little tough on that.
But I actually, you know what though? Like,
here comes Santa Claus. I can only take that so long, and then I'm good. But I'm just saying, like, it's gonna make me appreciate Christmas a little more this year, I think.
There you go.
When we were kids as the band, we would go to these small towns, and we didn't know, again, we were just happy to get out of town, so we'd go anywhere, and these towns it's not like you were going to like New York City or a place that would have like, there's a souvenir shop. Like there's no souvenir shop in Marquette, Michigan that I was aware of, or, Ames, Iowa, these places. But we would go and we'd go to thrift stores and we'd pick something up from like the bric-a-brac section or like where they'd have all their knickknacks, and there's always a shit ton of Christmas lights. Yeah. So when we used to go and just buy these like bags because you couldn't get rid of them.
Right.
And we get the old candeliers and we put like the little bubble lights in them and stuff, and just anything that we'd find just to kind of don the stage with some, something fun or festive. And so and there was a lot of like near fire things happening from like the poor electrical of those old lights and stuff.
That's cool.
But,
so that's how you guys got into like decorating the stages.
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that's how you injured yourself too.
Well,
right?
that's
not to bring
sort
up a
of
bad subject.
Oh no, that's okay. I broke my arm in DC in May. I broke my radius.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
You could see the weird shape of it.
This right here?
It's not that weird, but like for the people that are just listening, it's just you can kind of see. It was a weird experience. That whole experience was very odd. I mean, to those out there listening, like, don't know the last time you all have broken bones, but to be in your 40s and be like, oh, you like a real break, not like broke the. I think my thumb's messed up. Maybe I broke it. I don't know.
Oh, you showed me your X-ray.
Yeah,
it was cracked.
The whole piece, like it like jutted out. It didn't break the skin, thank God, but it was like it jutted out, and it was weird. I thought I'd pass out. I didn't. I was proud of that. But then just the whole the experience of modern day, like
recovery.
We call the ambulance people. They show up. They kind of talk to you. And then we had to wait for another ambulance, and I was like, I don't understand why are we waiting? And they said, oh no, we're here just to sort of check you out. And I said, I don't understand. Well, you have an ambulance. And I said, I got to go. I want to try to play later tonight. And they were like,
you were going to try to do the gig?
Yeah. And
did you cancel the gig?
No, I played the show, but I was like, we got to go. Like, I got to get this sussed out quick to see what we can do about it. And I won't play my instrument, but I can sing still, maybe. And
that's some fucking professionalism there.
I remember because I was texting him when that was happening, and he's like, "No, I'm still gonna play in Boston. This is fine." And like
I did play Boston. Yeah, I only had to cancel one show, but that was the funniest thing though. Then the people are keeping you there, like, "Hey, no, we're gonna hang for this other." And it's Georgetown rush hour. Mm-hmm. I was like, and we're waiting on an ambulance right now, like. Why are we waiting? They said.
Why was that?
They just said that like
unusual,
we're not
though.
The one. Like
that's
we're going to be
normal,
here, and then
it?
This other ambulance will come, and then they'll take you away. And at that point, I said, "It's Georgetown. There's got to be like a hospital somewhere close by." And Dean, he just looked on his phone and was like, "Yeah, it's like a mile from here." And they were like, "Oh yeah, Georgetown Hospital's a mile from here." And I was like, "Well."
I could walk there.
Yeah, and I was like, Dean, just call me a lift.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were like, are you sure you want to do that? I don't think you want to do that. And I was like, tell me this. I don't know how much an ambulance costs to get to bring. Like, two ambulances coming,
right?
And then Dean's like, I got a lift. It's like $11. Let's just go. So we just took a lift and went over, and I got it reset. And that was a whole thing that I did not know. I thought modern times we'd have, more advanced ways of managing it, but it was some caveman stuff that we like
what?
Well, they're like, okay, they ultimately shot me up. They gave me morphine and they gave me some localized like anesthetic, but they were basically like, there's nothing we can do.
Did the morphine feel good?
I couldn't even feel it.
Really? Because you were that. Yeah.
I was expecting to feel something else.
Yeah.
But I was completely aware of everything, and it didn't do enough. The stuff that they shot into the arm was what helped, but they took gauze. They basically brought like the IV stand over, and they tied gauze around these two fingers.
Yeah.
And just wrapped it like, sorry, your finger's probably gonna be bruised and black and blue in the neck for the next few days. And they just tied it up.
Yeah.
And then they put 2 sandbags that were like 10 pounds each over my arm, and I just had to sit there, and they're like, yeah, gravity will ultimately like help it out and take hold, and then
it's
we're gonna
real
try to
MacGyver type shit.
Yeah,
it's like you're like, this is a hospital, right?
Yeah,
like, this is what I would do if I'm in my clubhouse by myself.
That's what I thought.
I
was like, this is it. Like this is the method. And they were like, to be honest with you, we're doing more than we even normally would. We just say like, you need after the X-ray, you need to get it taken care of with a surgeon. So
yeah, I mean, dude, I broke my collarbone like in Atlanta a long time ago. I was riding my bike. I got hit by a car. And I went over the windshield went over the hood.
Did you have a moment with the driver like I did with my deer?
Everything happens when that kind of shit happens. It's like slow motion.
Yeah.
So it's like it's weirdly slow.
Yeah.
And then I like got up right away and picked my bike up. And then the driver was like, "Are you okay?"
And the adrenaline, you were just like,
my adrenaline was going, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay, I'm fine." And he goes, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then he goes, "Okay," and he just drove off, and it was his fault, right?
Wow.
And then immediately, I was like, let me go. And I went, and it was like, like my collarbone had broken. Whew. And I didn't know until once I knew, I was like, oh, holy shit, my fucking, I think my fucking shoulder's out of its socket. So I just like went right back down. And then a couple other cars came up and said, dude, why'd you let that guy go? And I was like, I don't know. I was in shock, Yeah. And then a cop came.
Yeah, you want to make a big deal about it.
And then all of a sudden, the ambulance comes, and then I'm like lying, in the back. They because that's like a spine thing, and they don't know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, long story short, they take me to like the, cheap hospital or whatever, and they didn't do shit. I just like laid there for a minute, got like some pain pills, and they're like, okay, go, leave now.
Oh man.
Well, your collarbone's broken. We can't do anything.
Yeah, what can they do for that?
You're just now go heal. It was like, okay.
Luck. So there's
no surgery. So like that's it.
There's no surgery. How do they
end.
That's
like
just like your college guys. Like, hey, listen, it's all up to you.
Yeah,
like, okay,
it's on you. Just so you know. Yeah.
So they set the thing and then
set it and forget it.
See they tried to set mine and they like. And I remember like not feeling it really and not wanting to look because they're like trying to like put it back all on there and it took them like 5 times and then when I went
you hear it go like
and when I heard when I saw the surgeon and he took his X-rays because I remember seeing the first X-ray and I have it still and it's like a clean big nasty break. But then I saw the X-rays that they took at the surgeon's place, and it was like there was like all sorts of bone dust. And he told me, he was like, "So how many times did they try to reset it?" I said, "I don't know." I said it was like at least 4 or 5 times. And he was like, "It looks like." He said, "It looks like somebody dropped the bottom of a bag of potato chips in your arm. Like there's little bits everywhere." So the surgery hurt worse than. The surgery hurt worse than actually breaking it.
Right.
Like afterward, that was a rough day because I thought we played Le Poisson Rouge the night before. Yeah. I had a few days there.
Did you have a cast on it?
I was there.
They gave me like this. Well, they gave me like a weird air thing, and then I had to just have it in this sling. So I played Le Poisson Rouge and then had surgery the next morning in Hackensack. But they were like, if it's early, he was like, I don't see why if you're just going to sit on a stool and sing. You could do it, but then because I really didn't want to cancel anything, and then it got bumped. My time got bumped, and then at that point, management stepped in and said, "You know what?" And this is a great thing. And Jesse's back here. I'll say, I appreciate it. He said, "Even if you could perform, do you really think you'll be giving people the best version of yourself?" And I was like, "That's also true." So good to think about. And then, so I didn't play, but then the next day I was fine and aware. And so we drove up to Boston and played that show too. But yeah, breaking arms sucks. I will say though, if you said you got to you break your arm again or deal with plantar fasciitis, I'd still say I'd rather break my arm.
Really?
There's nothing worse than dealing with your feet because you're always on your feet. Like it never goes away. You're always dealing. At least with your arm, you can like put it aside for a little bit and manage without it, which does suck.
And it takes less time to heal, I guess, than planners for whatever.
Yeah, the planners. And I never know if I'm saying that right, actually.
Planners for
fasciitis or fasciitis.
I'm sorry, but we kind of have to wrap it up. We're doing a double.
Oh, boy.
And our next guest is upstairs.
Oh, nice.
And we've been going for almost 2 hours, which is fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is he upstairs?
Yeah. But maybe give some of your socials and where people can find you guys.
Sure. Well, I mean, Red, Wanting Blue is on all the social media stuff, the platforms. And I've actually, as of May, I'm now I'm finally on Instagram. I was a big holdout. But the whole breaking arm thing was like, I had a moment of just like, what's it all mean? What am I doing? I should do it. And I'm jumping in. And my mom stayed with me for a week, helped me when I couldn't tie my shoes and stuff.
That's nice.
Yeah, because my wife was gone.
What's your Instagram?
So Scott RWB.
Scott RWB. Scott Terry.
Scott Terry is my name.
Yeah. Dude, thank you for doing it.
Thanks,
it's been a pleasure.
This has been awesome. And I'm excited about our show.
December 28th, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
And then wait, but what's your next out? When's your next album coming out? Are you guys working on it?
We're workshopping music right now. We're gonna have a lot of new music for people here in 2020. So probably end of 2020 we'll be having stuff out for people, which is exciting.
Red, White, and Blue. Check them out.
Check them out. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. That was groovy.
Yeah, man.
Dude, thank you for this. Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated.